Hello everyone, welcome back. So today, I know I might be uploading a bit late. Currently it's 11 p.m., so it might be over today for the upload, which was not the case. So I guess whenever I get to upload this, which would be in a couple of hours, we will also have a different video as well up in the same day. Just because today didn't have much time, so I'm doing it right now, which is currently it's 11 p.m. like I said, and I'll definitely not be in the time for the video for it to be out today. So tomorrow we'll get two of them, this one that we're doing right now and a different one which I'll be doing later on today after I've slept. So today we'll be starting from a recent sketch that we did. Let me get the name of the sketch. The name of the video was Audio Spectrum Fireworks. So we'll be basically continuing on the first, from the base that we did in the first video. This is what I want it to look like in the end. Let me show you. There you go. Should start. Oh, there you go. Knocking models. I wanna bump a beat that goes hard. Let me give you a couple more seconds of this. Alright, that's fine. So this is the goal of what I want to get done today. Hopefully we get there. I've already done it, obviously, but I'll walk you through the process. I've just reset everything. I haven't done it in a couple of hours, so I've done this yesterday even. So let's get started. So this is exactly what I had left in the earlier video called Audio Spectrum Fireworks. So I would invite you to go and watch that video just to get to the same base as I am. If you don't want to, you can always clone the GitHub repo, get started from there. Actually, the GitHub repo might be the same one I'm using, so it might be updated already to the one I'm going to do today. So hopefully you can follow along from the past video to this one. Yeah, so let's get started. So the first thing first, I want to change the song to the one we were just listening to. So let me update that. So I've just downloaded a different song, not much there, so I haven't done it on camera, but hopefully you can download whatever song you want. Right now I'm just using from No Copyright Song. I'll be linking them down below just because it would be the minimum I can do for them at least. And so yeah, the song name is called Models from No Copyright Song. So just because they let us use those in videos, so that's great for YouTube. All right, so we left off with explosions and fire and particles, right? Which were looking like fireworks, right? What I want to do, like we saw in here, right? There's not much particles per explosions, but there's a lot more explosions, right? And I don't have a lot of particles per explosion just because otherwise it'll be really difficult for the processor to compute all of that. So we'll be starting first. Sorry. First thing first, let me just make sure. Okay, this is still working. So the first thing that I want to do, let me make this a little bit bigger and this a little bit smaller, just so you can see more code. Yeah, I think that's fine like this. Okay. So first thing first, I want to do is move particles into its own file. So particles, and excuse me for if I type badly today. I cut my finger open earlier today, so it might be a little bit challenging, but we'll do our best. There you go. So let me put this here. Awesome. And let me also do the same for explosion. Great. Let's move this. Awesome. Let's put this here. So first thing first, let me see if I can pass the amount. Yeah, so the amount, let's do like 3 for right now. We'll reduce it down. Okay, that's great. And that, I'll just disable it just for right now, just because it's in the way, I think. Okay, that's fine. We can reactivate it some other video if you find it useful, but I mean the key caster, right? But for right now, let's just leave it as that. Okay, so I removed the temp arrays. Let me also remove it from the code. Let me make it a little bit smaller. And hopefully this is fine for you. Just otherwise I don't have enough code in there to get the full context. So let me remove pretty much everything, not everything, but pretty much, right? So let me remove all of this. We'll keep the showing and updating of the fireworks, of the explosion, sorry. So that's good. So I won't be using P5 amplitude anymore. We might want to use it a little bit later on in the video, but for right now, I won't be using it. What I'll be using instead, like I suggested in the previous video, is instead of like, the concept is going to be the same, right? We're going to create explosions based on the amplitude of the sound, but not the full spectrum of sound, right? We'll base it based on like section on like the base will be one section, right? So we'll calculate what's the amplitude for that section, and then if the amplitude is, let's say, greater than 1, we'll just display some explosions. So we'll do that for multiple sections, and to get those sections values, we need something called Fourier Transform analysis. What, I can't talk. But we'll have FFT, it's called, for fast Fourier Transform, right? So we'll have new P5 FFT. We'll set FFT to this, and let me take a look at, sure, that's fine. Let me go on P5 references and take a look at FFT, just because it's been a couple of days, so I don't remember it properly. Okay, so what I want is, okay, P5.FFT, that's good, that's already done. So what we'll want to do is get the frequencies, right? So it'll be spectrum, just like this. Awesome. So here we'll have, I'll use a const because I don't really need it to be let, just because I'm not going to update the spectrums array. All right, great. And I will also be passing in the amount of bands sections that I want. So here it's really difficult to read, but here you have bin, which is the first argument, must be a power of 2 between 16 and 1024. So we'll be using 1024 as our base bins, right? So we'll have a constant over here, const bins. This is going to be equal to the power of 2, which I don't remember which power exactly, but 1024. You could also do 512. I don't think it would matter that much, since we're not going to have sections that are going to be like, we're not going to use 1024 sections. That would be not the best, I think, personally, in my opinion. What we're going to do is gather maybe parts of tens, right? So we'll divide this bins by like some spaces and use those spaces average for the amplitude, basically. So here spectrum will pass to analyze, will pass the bins, that how many bins that we want. The scale, currently the scales returns between 0 and 255, what I'm seeing to the right. The other option is to pass the string dB, which would, for decibel, which would return between minus 140 and 0. I'm fine with the value 0 and 255, but what I'll want to do is map those between 1 and 0 after we've calculated the amplitude for each of them, right? So I'm going to, I don't know, right, I don't have it. So what I'll do is I'll just go and get colors, just like an array of colors, there you go, from this website. Great website, I really recommend it, at least that's for me, because I'm really bad with colors. So I'll be taking, I'll be stealing some colors. These ones look great, amazing. So I'll be copying these. Let's do export palette. Let's do embedded just because it's already in here. Okay, let me copy this. Okay, great. Copy, awesome. Let me put it here, right? We'll have like const colors equals this. Though I need to add the pound symbol before all of them. That's fine. I don't mind. There's probably a bit of way, like probably if I were to look into the CSS export, there's going to be it already made, right? If we were to take a look, right, you can see it here. I could copy it from here, but doesn't matter. It's good. Okay, so we'll be using, I believe, which one? This one, right? So this is the one we'll be using for the spectrum. All right. So what we'll do is basically, let's say for right now, let's say we'll have only, well, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5 colors. Let's say we want 5 sections, right, of colors. So what I'll do for the moment, I won't be making it into a circle. I'll be making it into lines because it'll be easier to debug for the time being. Or I could right away make it into a circle. Both of them are fine. One thing I want to do before anything is just draw this regular spectrum, like the one you have in head whenever you think of a spectrum, right? Just bars going across, going down. Let's do it. So we'll have stroke 255, just white, just so that's easy to see. And then we'll have 4, and we'll just do a loop passing on the spectrums. So let I equal 0, I is less than bins, right? Because spectrum is going to be the same length as bin value, and then I plus plus, awesome. So here, what we'll do is we'll basically do a line that goes between 0, comma, well, I times, well, just I, comma, 0, comma, I, comma, and then we can just do spectrum index I, right? That should be fine, I believe. Let's see it. Okay, there is an issue right now. What's the issue? Let's see. Okay, it's bugged. Let me open a new tab. Okay, there we go. So, right, so this is what I want to see. Right, so here we have the spectrum, right? There's supposed to be 1,000. Hopefully you can hear the sound whenever it's playing. I don't know if it's not loud enough or too loud. Let me make it a little bit louder. I'll try not to talk while it's playing, just because I don't want you not to be able to hear me, or vice versa, you not being able to hear the sound. But yeah, so this is the spectrum, like the base spectrum, right? So we'll try to assign a couple of sections based on the colors that we have to the visualization. Oh. Okay. So let's make it into circles right away. It's fine. I really don't care that much. So what we'll do is we'll have for the amount of colors that we have, right? And I'll just do a different array for the colors just because we might want to modify it a little bit, play with them. Const colors, lowercase, I mean, sure. And we'll just use colors right away, for right now at least. We can always update that afterwards whenever we get the base principle done. All right, so we'll have colors, and then we'll do basically for let, my bad, my finger, it's really bad. I is equal to 0. I is less than, not the bins, but the colors dot length. I plus plus, and then what we'll do is we'll get the average. Let's do let sum, and the sum will be the sum of spectrum between those values, right? So what we'll do is spectrum is the base value is going to be 0, and then we'll do 4, and then I need a start index. So let's do const start index equals something, well, map of something, right? And we'll do const end index, right? Equals also a map of something. Awesome. So what we'll do here is we'll basically do start index. It's supposed to be I, which goes between 0 and colors.length, to let me think, to 0 and bins, -1. Or just bins, yeah, that's fine. And what we'll do is we'll floor that value. So this should be pretty much the value we want. And then end index should be start index plus bins divided by colors dot length. All right, great. Now let's do the sum. So we'll use j equals start index. J is less than end index. J plus plus. Okay, great. And now we'll do sum plus equal spectrum index j. Okay, great. That's no errors at the moment. And then we want the average, right? So const, I'll call it avg for average, short version of average. And we'll basically do sum divided by this value, right? Because supposedly there's supposed to be that amount of stuff in there, right? I could possibly put this in variable, but it's fine for right now. We'll see what we want to do with that later on. Okay, now I might want to, just like we had previously, we had something like the past 10 averages, and then we were looking if the average mean previously is smaller than the current average, right? So we'll do like let past it seems a bit weird, but sure, it's fine. And past needs to be an array which has a length of colors. GTH. Sorry, I'm really tired today. Okay, that's fine. Colors.length. Okay, because every spot in that array should be a given. Okay, what we'll do is past index, and we can fill those values with zeros, right? Oh, fill. All right. Fill. Do I want arrays? Yeah, sure. Fill with array, empty arrays, right? So what we'll do here is past.push. Past index I, index the color we're currently at, and push the average. And then we can calculate, before doing that, we can calculate the past averages. So we'll do like it'll be the mean. Mean will start at 0. What we'll do is basically the same as we've done above, but we'll do it with the averages for const p of past index I, and then we'll do mean plus equal p, right? And then we'll do mean divide equal by this dot length. My finger is really not great today. God, I shouldn't have cut myself. I just wasn't cutting properly, it seems. All right, so that's what we have now. And what I'll do is I'll do this only if this is more than 0. It's greater than 0. There we go. Oh, okay. I think that's fine. Okay, there we go. Okay, great. So now what we want to do is basically like we had previously, we'll do if the current average is greater than the past averages, which we call the means, plus, let's say it's, right now it's on a 255, 0 to 255. I want it between 0 and 1. It'll be easier to just think about it. So we'll map this thing to, which goes between 0 and 255 to 0 and 1, just because I think it'll be easier for us to work with. So if the current average is greater than the mean plus, let's say 0.1, a little bit greater than the previous mean, previous averages. And I'll do as well. So after pushing it, we'll do if this thing dot length is greater than, let's say 10, we can just remove 1, the first one we added. So we'll do this here dot splice. At the 0th index, we remove 1 of them. Okay, good. And now here, this is, right here is the drawing part, right? So, sorry, okay. So let's take a look at explosion if we want to change anything for it, right? This is the color, I think. C. What is C? Yeah, C, particles, push, new particles. Let's take a look. C, I guess it's the color, right? Yeah. Okay. Stroke rate 3. This we might want to change eventually. I mean, in the video I showed you at the beginning, it was changed. But for right now, let's leave it. Let's maybe put 10 for right now. You can always update it afterwards. Velocity, it should be random pretty much. Velocity, create random vector, that's fine. We can keep it like this. Max lifetime, we'll want a really small max lifetime. Okay. Okay, great. So let's do const. We first need the position, right? So what we'll do is we'll create a random, right? Because I want it in a circle, so we can create a random 2D vector, which we set the magnitude, which would mean, let's say, the radius of that circle to x, and then we can use that to as the position of the vector. What's this? Oh yeah. Okay. Right. So p5 dot vector dot, or we could use from and goal and select random between 0 and 2pi, but it should be pretty much the same thing. So random 2D dot set mag, and right now I'll set the mag maybe like something like I times, since we have a small screen size, let's do I times 20. And okay, so we have the position. Now let's do the max lifetime. I'll just set like a hard-coded value to like maybe 5 or something. Sure. And the color, it'll be colors index I. So that's fine. So let's do explosions dot push new explosions, which will be at position with the color right now. Is it the color right after? I don't remember. Yeah. So the color, which will be colors index I, and then we'll have a fixed value of, let's say, 10 for right now, right? So if I were to do this, let me see if we get anything that could actually make sense. Let's see. I won't be talking while it's doing its thing. Okay, so an issue already. Explosions is not defined. That makes sense because here I put it into files, but haven't added the files into here, right? So let's add those files. So I'll put explosions after particles, just because explosions are using particles, but it doesn't really matter in this case, but we'll just do that anyway. Okay, let's see. Okay, so no issues, but we will want to translate everything to the center of the screen, right? Because this position is basically like 0, 0. So we'll move everything. So we'll use translate to width divided by 2 and height divided by 2. There you go. Let's see. Knocking models. I want to bump a beat that goes hard. Okay, so the colors right now, I believe I'm expecting RGB as the color. What we'll do is just remove all of this. Oh, right. That's because I was passing the alpha. I think using still the alpha, it would be nice. So what I'll do is I'll just go find an array of colors, which I had somewhere. Give me a second. They were like separated with RG and B. Okay, there we go. I found it. So give me a second. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let me update this. Whoa, wait. Okay, there we go. So never mind the rest. I'm just going to use the RGBA value of colors, but it'll still be colors, right? So over in where is it? Here, it'll be dot RGBA. I think it should do it. Let's see. Knocking models. I wanna bump a beat that goes hard. One thing as well, let me set the volume of the song to maybe a little bit like 0.5 or something, right? So let's do song dot sound dot set volume, I think, to 0, value between 0 and 1, so we'll do 0.6. Okay, I think it's doing what we wanted to do. One thing I want to do now, let me maybe make the spacing between all of the values a little bit bigger. Let me do like 100 even. Let me close this. Let me make this a little bit bigger, just for us to be able to see it a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Let me close this as well. Maybe 100 is too much actually. Let's go back to 20. Okay, let's see. Knocking models. I wanna bump a beat that goes hard. you know what? The base is at the middle. I want the base to be on the outside a bit, right? So what we'll do is basically, it's here setting the magnitude, we'll do I, instead of I times 20, we'll do colors dot length minus I times 20. Minus I times 20, right? This should be inverted. Hopefully, I really hope you don't hear it twice because of the mic. I won't be re-recording the video, so if it does, please clone the repo and try it yourself. This is just the process of making videos. I'll be getting better as time goes on, as more videos gets made. This is the current setup. It's pretty weak, but it's a work in progress, right? I think we're really close to what I wanted. One thing I did in the video that you saw earlier was basically, instead of using the full 124 array spectrum, I was using only half of those, right? So instead, over here, right, instead of going up to bins, I was going up to bins divided by 2. Basically only using half of the spectrum, right? So we can have const maybe variable called half bins equals bins divided by 2, right? And we could use that value pretty much everywhere. And so let's say, whoa, moving too fast. Okay, so for example here, this we would update to half bins here as well. This is fine. This would be half bins. Where else? I think that's it. Let's see it now. So we're only using from, let's say, the middle here to the left. All right, so that's pretty cool. Though I think there's not enough particles, right? So what we can do is we could just loop in here, right? We could just loop for, let's say, 5 times. I think what I'll do for the sound is I'll just manually in OBS mute my microphone while I play the recording, while I play the song, and unmute me afterwards. Hopefully that works. Hopefully I need to remember to unmute myself afterwards, otherwise I'll just be talking and you won't be hearing me, right? So we could just do something like, to get more particles at the same time whenever they're pushed into the explosions array, we could possibly do it something like let j equals 0, j is less than, let's say, 10, so we create 10 explosions, so 1 j plus plus. We could do something like that, right? Possibly. But let's see. I think it's going to be fine. But there may be a better way to do it, and I'm going to do something different afterwards. Let me mute myself. Oh, and never mind. I want to create the position every time I create a particle, right? So let me do this. This is not right. Okay, there we go. Let me re-mute myself.
Popping bottles, knocking models. I wanna bump a beat that goes hard. I wanna bump a beat that goes hard. Popping bottles, knocking models. Popping bottles, knocking models.
Okay. I almost forgot to unmute myself. Okay, great. So I think it's fine, but it could be improved, I think. So we could add particles, add as many particles based on the amplitude um, that we get for that frequency, right? So what we can do is use the average, which goes between 0 and 1, and map this to a given value that we want, right? So const, we can make count, maybe, be equal to a map of the AVG, which goes between 0 and 1, like we said, to between, let's say, 1 and 20, something insane. Okay, and then let's use the count over here. Whoops, my bad. My finger really dumb mistake, but hey, you have to learn. Okay, so if we were to start this, let me mute again myself.
Popping bottles, knocking models. I wanna bump a beat that goes hard.
Okay, great. But right now, I think there is not enough details, right? So right now, it's basically moving about, um, uh, like spacing the dividing the spectrum, half of the spectrum actually, dividing half of the spectrum, half of the bins that we have into only however many colors that we have as well, right? So what I'm thinking is we could have like an actual amount of sections that we define, and we just rotate between the different colors that we have, right? So I could have like a variable called maybe, I don't know, const sections, and we could set this to 30, right? So it would divide half bins into 30 spaces, 30 rings in the canvas that we're going to use, right? And we could just, for the colors, we could just modulus that value based on the colors length, right? So let's do that, right? So instead of going between 0 and colors.length, we'll be going in here, right? We'll update all of this as well. This as well. The only thing that we'll be using colors.length over here. Not even this, it's the actual color here index. So instead of I, it should be this modulus colors.length, right? Let me try this out. And whoa, what? Okay. Let me, instead of muting my mic, let me just mute the actual volume coming out of the computer. Otherwise, I could just put earphones, right? So give me a second. I'll just put on some earphones so that it doesn't bother the bother the actual mic. Hopefully, this will not mess up the OBS recording. Okay, there we go. No. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything whenever we're playing this on. Uncaught, type error, passed, I is not iterable at draw. Okay, so this is not iterable at draw. What's not iterable at draw? Let me see. Let me see. Oh, okay, right. That makes lots of sense, right? Because we need to base everything on these sections. There you go. Okay, let me see now. Okay, it seems to be rendering something. Let me close this. Let's see. Okay, so now it's not drawing anymore, right? My belief is maybe this is going too far in time. Let me do 5 and let me do like 0.03 just to see if we're getting something. Oh no, you know, I know the issue. It's not this. It's actually, and let me put this back as well. It's actually that it's getting out of our view, right? If I were to make this full screen, we would probably see it. Right, we do actually see it. So what I'll do instead is get this value based on, let's say, the height or the minimum between height. So let's just do min let min min radius. So min or max radius, right? Whatever we want to call it. Max radius should be equal to the min value, which goes between the min value between the width and the height divided by 2 because it's a radius, right? And then what we'll do is over here it'll be this divided by, let me put this in parentheses, max radius divided by the amount of sections that we have. All right, that should fix it.
Bottles knocking models. I wanna bump a beat that goes hard.
Okay, we're having an issue with the colors. So sections. Oh, that makes sense. It's supposed to be I modulus the colors.length. There we go. Let's see it.
Bottles knocking models. I wanna bump a beat that goes hard.
Okay, one other thing I want to do is maybe this value, right? I'm thinking the higher the frequency R, so the closer, so as I grows, I want this value, the added value to the mean, to be much smaller, right? So what I'll do is I'll use map again. So we'll map I, which goes between 0 and sections, right? I think. Yeah. To whenever it's 0, it should be 0.1. Otherwise, it should go down to maybe 0.00. Well, 0.05. Let's see this.
Bottles knocking models. I wanna bump a beat that goes hard.
Okay, I'm thinking also, let's not use half of the bins. Let's use maybe a quarter of the bins. Just to see, right? Maybe not a quarter, but 2/3 of the bins. Okay, and also I'm going to update the map again of this one over here, which will go up to this. What? Okay.
Bottles knocking models. I wanna bump a beat that goes hard. I wanna bump a beat that goes hard. Popping bottles, knocking models.
Alright, I think we're pretty much completed with the sketch. There's a lot you could update to this to make it look a lot better. Um, one possibility would be maybe make the particles go smaller in time as their lifetime goes smaller. Maybe randomize the amount of particles per explosions, but I would still keep it low. Low meaning between 0 and 5 or max 10, because there's going to be a lot of particles. It's going to be demanding for the computers, depending on the computers that you're using to just render those, right? So I would suggest something like a low amount of particles. Maybe also update, maybe not use a specific, like for here for example, right? Given a given I value, it's always going to be the same magnitude, the same radius from the center. So I would suggest maybe doing some random value, right? But it would be like, let's say random between this value and plus 50 or minus 50, right? You can do so much more to the sketch to make it look great in your own ways. Maybe make the particles velocity be really high um, whenever the sound, the amplitude of that specific frequency section is higher, right? Um, and there's so much more you can add to this, but this is the base version of it. Hopefully you enjoyed the sketch. Let me know down in the comments below if you liked it or not. um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.